Allen Ed's, man, like, there's no stores like that anymore. I mean, there's mom and pop shops, but Allen Ed's was the closest to a commercial audio installation store
Right.
that you had.
Right.
And I remember when I was younger, I'd be out with moms running errands, and there were certain stores that were near an Allen Ed's. And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go over
I'll
here,"
be over here. Yep.
and I would go over there, and I'd just be in there, just And I remember there was one in particular on La Cienega that I would go to. I just be like, the dudes that worked there were cool because they got used to me just coming in there and just playing
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
They knew I wasn't buying nothing. I'm
Yeah.
like, 14 in there just pressing buttons.
Seeing what the latest stuff is.
But I was so into car audio, so I was just learning all the stuff that they was doing. They started showing me stuff. They would take me in the bay while they were installing, showing me stuff.
Right.
I'm younger, so that's how I learned. And then when I first got a car and started buying
your
my own
own.
stuff, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I know how to do this. So I was
That was pretty cool.
wiring up my own.
I remember buying my first system downtown LA. Getting
You went to downtown? Yeah, I did that later on.
yeah.
My first head unit I did buy from Allen Ed's.
My actual first head unit, I was able to get directly from Sony. The Sony Studios had a store on the lot.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And one of my friends that we went to school with, his mom worked there. I was able to pick up a head unit
That discount.
out of the store, with a discount. Put it in the 89 Maxima.
That's what's
I
up.
didn't have the right subs. This is before I knew what amps were, but I had the head unit.
Right.
And I was like, I thought I was big shit.
Remember
I know
remember
you-
the head
I
unit
know
with
you were gonna
the with the Dolphins?
The Dolphins? Pioneer or Alpine?
I forget. I want to say
I
Alpine.
think it was Pioneer.
Was it
I
Pioneer?
feel like it was I feel like Pioneer started the one with the
Dolphin
the
screensaver?
Dolphins. Yeah.
I remember that.
Alpine, I remember, had like that funky. They started with the colors. I think they had like the color changing buttons.
Okay.
Alpine did.
Yeah, because I know the Clarions and I think the Clarions and the Kenwoods all had the teal buttons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. My first head unit was a Clarion. I'm almost certain that
Yeah.
I can remember. My second was a Pioneer, and then my third was an in-dash Pioneer with the DVD
Yeah.
screen with the it
So
was still
many.
single DIN, but it was the fold out.
So many that I wanted. Before I actually got my first radio, I wanted a Kenwood. Shout out to MC Breed.
I was gonna say is because you wanted to
Motorola phone, fat rims in the Kenwood.
right.
Man, I used to Ain't No Future in Your
Ain't no
Front.
future in your front.
Man, song just used to bang.
Yeah. Man, well, that's a little trip down memory lane.
Yeah, man. It's
Car
not
audio.
the automotive scene isn't what it used to be.
It's not, and that's because the auto manufacturers are making it harder and harder to customize. I mean, if you got the money, you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
But they do make it tougher and tougher. Like,
To do it yourself.
my car right now is like the amount of work to do it would be just ridiculous.
Yeah, it does take a lot. You got to get
So-
the modules and everything like that. But also the feeling of car ownership, I feel, is different for this younger generation.
Mhm.
Because for us, I want to say it really was a sense of freedom.
Mhm.
It was a way to get away. You had your own source of transportation. You could move around. Now you don't really need your own car to get around. 'Cause, there's a lot of parents who take the time to drive their kids around. Also, we've got rideshare services. So there's Uber, there's Lyft. It's easy to move around. It's easy to get places that you want to get to now.
For sure.
A lot easier than it was back then, So I think for us, like, that car was our
And kids nowadays, they don't want to do what we used to do, is just get on the bike and go somewhere.
go, yeah.
They ain't even trying to do that. So
well, there was nothing to do inside the house, Nobody wanted to be locked up in the house. If you was in the house, you got stuck doing chores or something.
yeah,
Yeah, so no, catch me outside.
right.
You don't go back in. Once you leave the house, you don't come back in. Because
You go back in, you got chores to do.
Yeah. Nah, you stay your butt
Stay
outside.
outside.
So it's different now, like everything is inside now. You got, especially with the phones, the video game systems, everything you need, you can access to from your digital window.
Indeed.
Yeah. Ain't like it used to be,
Staring through the planet through a glass phone.
right? If the internet goes down, man, world's going to lose its
The
mind.
good thing is I'm prepared because I didn't live that life.
We still got hard media.
Right? I got my physical media.
Break out the DVD player.
I got all my CDs, my DVDs, my Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I'm set.
Love it. I love it. I love having that. Still buying physical media.
If the internet goes down, I'll still be able to reach it. Happiness, that is.
Play my shit loud too so you can hear.
Right?
Yeah.
What? How are you watching that? We have no internet. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, see, back in the day, you used to have to go to the store.
I got my Blu-rays. What's that?
Right?
Is that something I can download?
No, it is not.
No, because you have no internet, stupid.
Right?
Yeah, so
I can burn you a copy. No, I can't.
Yep, I still got my Blu-rays. I got my Blu-ray player. My Blu-ray player, I ain't gonna lie, ain't plugged in right now because I'm preserving it for the day the internet goes out.
I mean, luckily,
But
if you
it's
got
there.
the PlayStation, does the Xbox play discs? Does the Xbox play
I have
movies?
PlayStation. So my PlayStation, yes.
That's the reason I got a PlayStation in the first place, is because it did. I had bought a 3D TV. It was on sale, one of the Black
Yeah,
Fridays.
PS3 did the.
And PS3 had a 3D.
Yep.
It was 3D Blu-ray capable.
Yep.
So that's the reason I went PS3 instead of Xbox. Never been a big gamer, but
Right.
I was like, if I am, because all the price difference between the 3D Blu-ray player or just a Blu-ray player at the time and the PlayStation was only $50 difference.
That's what I'm saying. You get to play games if you want.
Yeah.
So
I think it was $350 for the Blu-ray player.
and besides, you was on there playing DJ Hero, so you was good.
Right. Yeah. I had my little games on there. I had my fun. I buy games more for other people when they come over. Like, oh, you got this? Like, yeah, sure. Jump on. I don't know how to play it, but you can play it.
Gotta press some of those buttons. Does something.
I'm the dude that's just mashing.
Stop button mashing.
Oh, you can.
You're cheating. I don't know how to do nothing.
Nothing. That's it.
Sneak and move out and be like,
That's
I know, I'm meant to do that.
That's it.
Nah. That's funny.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, end of an era. JL Audio going out, man. That's the end of the era.
Kind of sad.
So
I need to get my car back up so I can put another system in it. I miss having a system.
I think with Garmin buying them, they should just leave the JL brand alone and just, keep that brand as a subsidiary.
Yeah, have it as a little division.
But who am I?
That would be cool.
I'm just a consumer.
That'll be cool. Yeah, man. Our stereos. Love it.
Yeah, I wish I loved it as much as I used to. Now I got grown up things to do.
Right? Man, responsibilities, man. They get in the way. But
So-
eventually you get to a point, well, hopefully we get to a point to where we've got our shit so locked up that we can start diving back into our old hobbies.
My goal was to just drive a speaker. I wanted just one ginormous
A
speaker. to drive around.
just driving a speaker. A speaker on wheels. That's it.
Like I'm trying to blow people's windows out.
Yeah.
So
The good old days. I remember the last time I had my system hooked up, it was two 12-inch, 2,000-watt RMS audio bond subs. They're top of the line at the point with the chrome baskets and everything like that.
right.
Added on two of those big-ass chrome amps. And I think I got it registered at like 145 dBs before the tune. I didn't really get to tune it up.
Right.
Yeah, hit 145 and I was like, oh, I'm in heaven right now. Like,
Get a back massage.
Gotta crank. What? Couldn't hear nothing after that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I miss my bumps.
Pumps in the
I
bump.
mean, mine does but it ain't like what mine used to be.
Yeah.
So every time I sold a car, though, I always took my system out.
Gots to.
I sell the system on the side,
I would leave the wires in, but I would take the radio.
I'm not
speakers.
unwiring anything, but I take my amps, my speakers, and my head unit
Yeah.
gone. That's taken
But I
out.
would leave the wires, and because I'm just buying a new set of wires anyway.
What I would usually do is here's me being myself, but I would take my speakers and my amps out,
Yeah.
and then I would go to like, Circuit City or whatever, right? And I would buy whatever the cheapest two door speakers I could find that fit the door to replace them with.
Replace them.
And then I
Yeah.
would buy like the $39.99, RCA head unit. Yes, RCA makes head units. They're
Yeah.
trash. They would come in the thing that was like the
little
plastic
plastic,
that was
yeah.
hanging on the shelf.
Yeah.
I would install that into the car before I sold my old car so that they'd have a radio and they would have speakers, but they didn't have what I had in there.
Yeah. See, I never did that. And that's mainly because I never sold any old cars. Like, the only reason I don't have a car is because I wrecked it. It got into some sort of accident. So it ended up getting totaled anyway because they were usually old. So I would just strip it. I'll just take everything out
Yeah.
and leave it gutted and be like, y'all can have it.
I took mine out, bought the bought the $40
stuff.
system,
Yeah,
put it
to
in
put
there,
it
and be
in
like, here you
there.
go. And I remember people would come check it out and they turn the radio on and be like, I had to get another radio. And in my head, I'm like, so? But they would buy the car.
I mean, if you're about that life anyway, you're going to replace it.
And it's funny because they looking at me like, this is what you tolerated? Like they thinking I was
Rolling around with
rolling
that.
around with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, bruh. You
Yeah.
wish you knew what was in this car. I'll show you after we exchange cash. No. But no, that's how I sold and that's how I got rid of the cars.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah, I have yet to sell a car. Every car that I've had, I lost it because there was some sort of accident that happened. And then I just ended up buying another one.
Note to self, always drive when going with coupe.
I didn't say I was the reason that there was an accident. One of them was me, though. I can't even front about that. But yeah, like if I didn't, you remember my Altima that I had?
Do.
Yeah.
I do.
If that never got into an accident, I'd still have it to this day. I wouldn't have the Magnum.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. I've always been like a one car. I'm very loyal when it comes to my shit. So I've always just had one car at a time.
You know, the Ultimas where you borrowed my speakers.
Yeah, don't remind me. I still owe you for that, by the way. I'll make good on it one day. Once the channel blows up.
Right.
I'll surprise you with the new
that was you heard that band pass.
I'll surprise you with some new Garmins.
I remember I installed that band pass in mine and you was like, hey, let me borrow, I'm still trying to get my subs, let me borrow this and I'll bring it back and that. So you just wanted to see what the band pass sounded like.
Not knowing any better. Hey, live and learn, you know? Sometimes.
And see, I didn't know any better to check to see what you had.
Sometimes you learn the hard way.
Because I'd have been like, oh, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's before I knew what an amp was.
But yeah,
that's how I found out I needed an amp.
I remember that bandpass box, that mug bang.
Bandpass beats.
Yeah.
Bandpass beats. I always loved me a good bandpass box.
Yeah, man. That was before they was putting LED lights and all that in there. That was just regular. That was just straight up bandpass.
Give me it was bandpass, then ported, then sealed for me.
Sealed, yeah. Sealed was so.
Sealed was like rock and roll. Nice tight bass.
That was when you wanted it to hit.
Yeah.
Like if you want to hit.
I like that sloppy.
Yeah, if you want that like that mumble bass, like solo, get a bandpass. If you want just overall bass, you get the ported, and then if you want just like that hard hitting, you go just sealed.
Like a sealed box would be great to listen to something like The Roots, you know?
Yeah, like I went from I had that bandpass, and then from there I got my ported, but I already knew I wanted sealed from that point forward. And when I did my Serwin Vega, when I had my stroker, that was a sealed box.
Yeah,
huge though. That box was massive because it was a 15. It was a single 15. But
how big?
How big of the box was?
Like the cubic feet, or
I don't. It was so the entire rear of the whip. It was a navigator. Box. So the whole tailgate was just the box with one speaker dead center facing up. So and that thing rocked.
That thing thumped.
Oh my god, dude! Like
man.
Yeah,
that's what's up. The good old days. The good old days.
So, well, with that, man, it's food time.
Yeah, man.
So
appreciate the convo today.
Good do us a favor, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Subscribe YouTube and hit the IGs and the TikToks while it's still there.
Yeah. And let us know what your favorite speakers was back in the day, or what kind of systems you had in your setups.
Yeah,
because that'll be dope. I'd like to hear about that.
I can say my most complex was 4 12s in the rear, 2 8s in the middle, along with the mids on the sides in the rear and mids in the door, and that was in the VW bus.
Nice.
And that thing used to go crazy too.
Nice. Yeah, my craziest was in the Magnum, 2 12s, 3 amps with 1, 2, 3 sets of 6.5 in the front doors.
Yeah.
And then 1 set of tweets in the pillars.
Nice. Yeah, I had the mids and tweets in the doors of the V-dub. I had 2 8-inch Fosgate punches under the middle seat inside the V-dub. And in the rear I had 4 12 Fosgate punches.
Fire.
And all Fosgate amps.
I missed that, man. Bring them back. Bring back systems.
And the 6x9s were under the rear seat.
Ooh, so you got to feel the little vibes from it.
So it was crazy. But tell us what your
let us know
favorite setups were, or crazy concoctions of car audio.
Favorite brands, and tell us about your setups. Yeah.
Can you reach that?